could you tell our audience who you are by doing, and then of course tell us about your book.
Okay, I'm from Jamaica originally. I was born in the city, and I've been involved with football at the age of 5. It is so funny that we went to Sunday school, and after Sunday school, there's a British reverend that was in charge of it, but he was crazy about football.
Mm-hmm.
So we are in our Sunday best, and he would have us playing football at the back of the church. We wouldn't be looking very clean and nice, and our parents would not be too pleased. But I got hooked onto the sport at that stage, and later I went on to primary school, did represent the school, into high school, and to college. I went to Michael College and played in the intercollegiate football. And prior to that, I had been with the high school team. I played in the under 15. The over 15 team was too rigorous because of the conditions of the community and at the time, and the feeding program. It wasn't for me at that time. But later on, I got into the club soccer and got a chance to enter the Michael University and train as a teacher
mm-hmm.
and in the physical education area. And I took an interest in the sport. I eventually became the president for the Marley Independent Football Club in St. Andrew, in Jamaica, and I helped quite a bit to grow that club.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely picked up quite a bit of experience with managing that club and getting it to be successful. We started out pre-league, and we ended up in a very short time in the Premier League during the late 80s. And since then, I've gone out to quite a bit of work in training, industrial development, and craft development, and regularly as an industrial and manpower development specialist.
Okay. I'm not sure if the volume on your phone is a bit down, but I think it's coming up for very low.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can put them. I think the volume is at the top, so let me speak up some more.
There you go. That's a lot better. That's a lot better.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So the book.
Mm-hmm.
The project in that, as a matter of fact, and the book tells you what the project is. It's the Soccer Football Whisperer Project. It delivers a book, the main manual. It's 100 principles for high performance soccer football club development, leadership, coaching, and quality control. It's a massive title,
mm-hmm.
but it's also a massive volume, 484 pages, and it is not intended for a one-time sit-down read, but it is intended for clubs to keep in their libraries as a resource and a reference for dealing with issues and dealing with the human resource development, performance management, training, coaching, interviewing of coaches, and dealing with the due process in terms of the dismissal and the hiring of coaches, and a whole gambit of what the leadership would need in order to be able to take charge and manage the clubs properly.
Got you. That's like I said, it's groundbreaking in a sense because it gives I went through your website obviously, and then I also went through the manual that you had sent earlier, which gives a gist, kind of an overview of what's covered in the book.
Yes.
It's really very comprehensive, and for those, you're welcome. It's a well-researched material for those in the sports industry who would want to understand, like you said, for clubs and for individuals who are, kind of sort of getting into the business for the first time, want to get deeper into the soccer business or even sports club business. I think this can apply to many different sport disciplines as well. But since soccer, football is like I say, the biggest global currency out there in terms of the social currency out there in terms of not just social interaction, but also opportunities for so many underprivileged, marginalized as well. I feel like this book sort of helps for those who are operating clubs or outfits out there which are not performing up to par. This would be like a gold mine for them in terms of laying their hands on this book and, of course, getting to your website and using your material. So,
the empowerment of the leadership and the ability for the leaders to have a say at every level, so that they can actually have an impact on their programs. And because just employing, bringing in a coach or technical director, and really the leadership at that stage, they are never usually able to generate the influence that they could if they had this material at their fingertips.
Right. A good number of things were talked about. So your background, besides playing football or playing, taking part in sports at a young age and coming into your adulthood, give us a little bit more background in terms of your involvement in this business to kind of give our audience out there a perspective on who you are and your specialty and your specialization in this area.
Okay, I did. Was involved as a physical education teacher on my completing of my internship at the Michael College, now Michael University, and I taught for about 7 years at Vauxhall Secondary School, where I was able to develop a dynasty for soccer at that school. We were the island champion on a number of occasions, and several of those students who we had worked with through basic programming at the school, where we had the 7th, 8th, 9th grade, but we all had teams for each grade, and so we knew what our team would be like in the future. And 2 years ahead of time, we know what the teams we were investing the time and the energy in. And so we were able to stay on top of the league for over 7 years.
Wow.
After that, I was awarded a Jamaica scholarship. I'm a Jamaica scholar, and I attended Temple University in Philadelphia, where I did a degree in human performance lab. It's a physical education degree. It's a human performance lab, and I went on and did a master's in education and administration. And later, I ended up at the Pacific Gardens Teachers College, where I did some lecturing at that institution, about 2 or 3 years, I think. And then my time was also taken with doing some work at the Michael University as well. And that has been mostly in the area of physical education and science.
Right.
And afterward, I certainly went out and tested my mental in the field of business development, organizational development, management, industrial training, and it has been a very, very good run for me, seeing what the wider scope was apart from just football.
Gotcha.
So having been able now to pull all those together to produce this material, it's organizational development and training. It has the sectors that deals with interviewing and the science of performance management, of measuring performance at the qualitative level.
Mm-hmm.
You may have noticed, and people will well know, that the performance, the quantitative performance is something that is abundant.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the qualitative performance,
right,
there are not very many tools that are available for coaches to measure the qualitative performance of their player. And I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
We have the tools that will tell us quickly shots on goal, whether they were on target or not. But the qualitative aspect of those shots are not accounted for, because many of those shots should not have been taken.
Hmm.
So whether they were on target or not,
mm-hmm.
their qualitative value could be very low.
Okay.
Because there would have been better opportunity for other players, better positioned players with the capacity to utilize the ball better, not receiving the ball because an individual took a shot to goal, which have some quantitative value.
Mm-hmm. But
in terms of the qualitative value, the team gets nothing from it.
Okay.
Because we would have ended up with a goal. And instead, so many of the tools that I have been exposed to the football family now is to look at this aspect of the qualitative nature of the game, mm-hmm. the social facilitation and the effect of that, the psychology of performance, and in those areas where we can really get some kind of results mm-hmm. that are beneficial and that are probably being overlooked for quite a while. I have been a fan of the game for over 60 years, and I'm looking at what is happening. And I can tell today that the players are getting beyond the coaching. Mm-hmm. They have very skillful players, physically fit players, smart players, but they're getting beyond the capacity of the coaches and the managers and even the clubs. So we are hoping that the material that I've produced will give the clubs a chance to the leaders to once again take charge of their clubs.
Okay.
And I would say to them, don't let this slide by, because I don't think we're having a situation where clubs are in charge. The club leaders are in charge anymore.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like it's going in the right direction.
Okay. So
I'm concerned. Yes.
Yeah, and that's a good point you brought up, because I was going to ask you. You talk about the qualitative aspect of shot taking in the game. A lot of times we're here in other sports like basketball. If you got a clear shot, take it. Take the shoot the basket. As opposed to, in this case, you're talking about, on the football pitch, where, sometimes a player will find himself exposed and in a position where they feel like they have the best shot at scoring a goal. But you're saying that, given, the analytics in this case, that some of those shots would be ill-advised to take, because that person may be conceiving himself to be in a better position, but then when you look at the overall picture of how other players are positioned on the pitch, they are not better positioned than another player would, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the best option. It wasn't in the best interest of the team, and oftentimes it affects the result. At the end of the game, you take 25 shots, and 15 of those would have produced better result had they not been taken. So, we have to look at how we treat those quantitative methods of assessing what we're doing and how much we value them. And then, if we are coaching towards the quantitative, then we'll be better off spending a little more time working on those qualitative measures. And I want to also mention quickly that the use of throws and the delivery of corners.
Mm-hmm.